Hello there people, welcome to another guide for Lies of P. Today I'm going to be showcasing my personal build that I've used to finish this game. I'm currently in New Game Plus and I plan to get all the 3 endings and all the achievements and all collectibles. So let's get started. This is a Motivity build and my personal favorite weapon would be the saw blade, the bone cutting saw blade with pickaxe handle. The reason I use this one is it has huge damage. The numbers are really big and it's very easy to stagger regular enemies. For the most regular enemies, all you could do is just do a running heavy attack and you will most likely kill them in one hit. Secondly, another good thing about this weapon or combination is it flinches enemies fairly easily. If an enemy does not die with your heavy attack, it'll at least be flinched. We're talking about most regular enemies, by the way. And if they're flinched, you can just follow up with either another heavy or a light attack and you will kill them. Another reason I chose this weapon, it's a fairly simple move set and a very simple play style. There's not much to learn. Practice and learn the weapon moves and timings. The only thing you really need to learn is about the charge times on this weapon, how long it takes to charge and how long it takes to follow up with the charge attack. Now the cons of this weapon, obviously it being very slow and it is obtained a little bit later. You know, it's not obtained super early, and that's about it. Now for the stats for this build, you will probably finish the game at about level 80 or 85 or somewhere in between. The stats in green are what I had, and the stats in brackets is what I recommend. So I would recommend your vitality to be about 30 to 35, not more than that, because you start to get like really diminishing returns. Vigor, I would say keep it at about 15 to 20 because this is a very stamina heavy build. You need a little bit of stamina. The capacity you could keep about 25. I had 28 by the time I finished playthrough, but I also had the equipment load amulet, so I'm not really sure what would be the best capacity, but by having 25 or so capacity, you're setting yourself up nicely for NG+. Then for Motivity, you want this to be at 30 to 35. After about 33, you start to get diminishing returns, so it's best to keep it that way. Finally, for your tech and advanced, just keep it default. Choose whatever class you started with. I personally chose the strength way because they have the least amount of stats in tech and advanced, so it is sort of min-maxed already when you choose that path. Okay, so let's talk about our Legion arm. Why did we choose the puppet string? It is because it will help you immensely with elites and even regular mobs in a lot of cases. So my usual combo is with the 3rd upgrade you could pretty much stagger most regular enemies in one use. But if it's an elite enemy or like a really heavy enemy, as you saw in the clip earlier, what you could do is you could use the ability in your puppet arm and then follow up with a charged heavy attack. If that doesn't stagger them, just follow up with another heavy attack and it will definitely stagger most enemies. That includes elites, heck, even some bosses. And then you'd follow up with the fatal attack and then continue the combo. Alright, so let's talk about the P organ upgrades. Now you're going to unlock phase 6 in New Game Plus, but let's not worry about that right now. In generally speaking, I would say avoid the increased staggerable window nodes. You don't need them. Simply use the shot put to stagger bosses, which is far more quicker than landing bosses, and it also works at range. You don't have to be next to the bosses. So here I chose to add, you need add fabled slots, both of the nodes, because of the amulet that we're using. That'll give us more damage. Then a link dodge is a nice skill to have. increase pulse cells all the time. Now, when I first played the game, I actually chose to skip this rising dodge upgrade. I know a lot of people think that they should add this to the base moveset, but they haven't. And honestly, yeah, I don't really think you need this. I only have it because I had extra quartz from New Game Plus, so I put it in here, but I would recommend you skip this one. Get the pulse cells too, and definitely get the amulet slots. You need those. Next, in the third stage, I would only get this one, the enhanced pulse cell recovery, and you're gonna skip the rest. I don't really recommend any of this. In the fourth phase, perfect guard cause stiffness. This is really good. It'll stop the enemies from further comboing. It's really amazing. Get this. Then of course we're gonna get amulet slots. We're gonna get fable slots, more fable slots. And honestly, at this point of the game, I believe you'll have maybe 1 or 2 more nodes you can get in your first playthrough. So choose whatever you want. Maybe you could choose increased special grindstone usage. This is really helpful for some of the bosses. Or if you want, you can get rising dodge, and you know, maybe if you need to put anything else here, or if you want to get something in the fifth phase. So the nodes that I chose to activate, you can have a look. I'm going to go through these slowly. Alright, so let's go through our equipment quickly. So our weapon, the saw blade with the pickaxe handle. We're using the puppet string arm. For the first amulet slot, use whatever enemy that you're facing. If you're facing puppets, use the puppet destroyer amulet. If you're facing humans, you can use the murderous puppet amulet, and so on. For our second slot, we're gonna get the extreme modification arm amulet. This will increase your weapon attack in proportion to the number of fable slots. So if you have 5 fable slots, you will do 20% extra damage as long as you don't use your fable slots. For the next slot, we're going to use the patience amulet, which will increase your stamina recovery speed, which is amazing. You need a lot of stamina for your heavy attacks. This is great. And for our final slot, you're going to use carrier amulet +1. You get the +1 version in NG. So as for your defense parts, nothing too complicated. Just use whatever the heaviest one. For the converter, just use whatever enemies you're facing. If you're facing a lot of enemies that do shock damage, just switch to the shock, and so on and so forth. Same goes for the cartridge. And for the armor, I prefer to use the strike damage because I find strike damage to be more common. You could also use the slash damage reduction one, whatever is up to you. And that was it for the build. Hope you really enjoyed this and hope it helps you out. Feel free to leave a like and comment and tell me how it went. Also, I do stream on Twitch almost every day. Feel free to come check this build out in action. And I will see you all next time. Bye!